Happy Monday morning. It's Andres Aviles, your local real estate agent here in DFW. Hey, I just wanted to do this quick little life update and share a quick story with you guys. It might take, I don't know, four minutes of your time, but I really think it's worth it because I do have a surprise at the end that I will confirm later this week. All right, so many of you know that or maybe have remembered that I tried to run a 100-mile endurance run in November of last year. Now, all of last year, I was struggling with my faith. And sorry, this is going to be in that realm of conversation. But yeah, last year I was just struggling with my faith. And I never really felt like I had my flame, the Holy Spirit fire in me anymore. And during that run, I had a wonderful experience. And I didn't share it with you guys because I didn't know what was to come of it. Anyways, so in that race, it was a 10-mile loop, and we did it as many times as you could, at least for me, but you stopped at 9.5, 10 loops. Well, anyways, between loop 2 and 4, I ran with a lady named Alice. Now, Alice, she was in her early 50s, maybe late 50s. Awesome lady, and she was running for her kiddos. Anyways, Alice and I were talking. I mean, when you're running and you're just talking and, figuring out why people are actually doing crazy things like that, towards the end there, she wanted to share a memory verse with her. So what she was doing was studying a memory verse every loop. And she asked me, "Hey, Andres, you're a Christian, right?" And she just said it like that. She didn't ask me, "Hey, are you a Christian?" She said, "You're a Christian, right?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And she made a small little comment that stuck with me. And she said, "No, I could feel that you're a Christian. Like I can just tell by your energy." And I said, "Oh, interesting." I hadn't felt like that about myself all of last year. And here, 30 miles into a 100-mile run, it really 51 for me. She made it to like 67, by the way. Awesome. 50 years old and 67 miles. Anyways, so after that race caused me to sign up for another ultra marathon. But then I reduced it to 20 miles because I'm like, hang on, let me actually gain my confidence back and actually complete a race. So in this next race, this was December 10th or something like that, on a Saturday. And I'm running. And I'm running behind this older guy. He's an old dude. And he's like maybe in his 60s, 70s. And sorry if you're in your 60s and 70s. I'm 30, so, but it's a blessing to get to that age. But I'm running behind this guy. And out of nowhere, he just starts like he's trying to spit stuff. Like he's coughing stuff up. And after like 5 minutes of it, I'm like, man, is this guy okay? Is he good? And then after like 30 seconds of me thinking that, he just gets this big old one out and he just shits it. I'm like, I had to make a comment. I'm like, wow, at least you finally got it, dude. And he just laughed it off and he said, at the beginning of all these races in the wintertime, I always have some trouble initiating my breathing because, it gets cold and you have cold air in your lungs and it just always stops him up. And anyways, we started chatting. He tells me about some of his adventures that he's been on. He's done some half Ironmans and he did a cross-country bike ride in 30 days. And he's written a book or two. And as we're talking, I'm getting a feeling of like, okay, this is a pretty interesting guy. I kind of like this conversation. So I just stay with him. It's slower than the pace that I wanted to do. But at that point, I felt something in me that's like, Andres, this isn't about the race. This is about this conversation. During this conversation, he's telling me that he's a pastor of a church in Dallas. And I'm like, holy moly, I'm looking for a church. And how cool is it that I'm running with a pastor? Of course, I'm not like, wow, this guy could be a pastor of any type of church that I don't really maybe believe in. But I'm just like, man, this is pretty cool. What if that would be a cool possibility? Anyways, so this race was a 20-mile, 10-mile loop. So I ran the first loop with him, and in the halfway, he's like, "Hey, let me give you a copy of my book." So we leave the race, go to his van. He gives me a copy of my book. I go to my SUV, I put it in there, and then I go back to the race, and that's it. I continued on because I had other things to do later that day, and so I felt bad I had to leave, but he ended up finishing. But then that evening, I was like, let me research this guy. So I looked at his church, I looked up some of his sermons, and I'm like, wow, I kind of like this. So the next day I showed up at his church, and he gives me this big old hug, like a father to a son. He's like, "Oh my goodness, Andres, like, I can't believe you made it here. Like, what a gift it is that Jesus gave me to have you here with me today." And I'm like, what in the world? I don't know this guy. And here I am, little Andresito. And he's just receiving me like a father would. And we all got daddy issues. I got some of my daddy issues myself. So it just felt something I've never really felt before. So this time, when choosing a church, I said, okay, let me make it very slow. Let me make a slow decision. Let me be wise about it. Let me make sure that I know what I'm saying, I'm signing up for, and I want my yes to be as powerful as ever. And I have this little saying that I heard a long time ago: the more no's you say, the more power you have to your yes. And so with that, I said, okay, let me just pump the brakes a little bit. It'd be pretty cool to have a pastor that shares the same just activities and hobbies and everything, and have a relationship outside of church with my pastor. That'd be pretty cool. And so earlier this year, I went to Puerto Rico, and this is probably more than 4 minutes, and I'm so sorry, y'all, but this is a really cool story. So we went to Puerto Rico to celebrate my mom's 60th, my brother's 35th, and my 30th birthday. Not all at the same time. Well, it's the same time of the trip, right? But she turned 60 this year. My brother turned 35. I turned 30. So it was like a milestone year, right? My mom ended up shaving her head, and she looks absolutely wonderful. She has a glow to herself that she's super proud of who she is, and I've never seen that in her until she did shave her head. She had the same thing that Will Smith's wife has, and so she's been losing her hair, but she looks incredible. I love it so much. Anyways, so while I'm in Puerto Rico, he reaches out to me and he says, "Hey, Andres, there's this race, March 1st. Do you want to do it with me?" And I'm like, what in the world? My pastor, wow, that's cool. That has a good ring to it. My pastor wanted me to run a race with him. And it's so cool to have like that proximity to a pastor like that, you know? And so I said, yeah, of course. And it was my mom's birthday weekend, so my uncle, my mom, my brother, and Roxy and I, we went to this race up in Texoma, and that was just this last weekend. It was wonderful. I ran the entire race with him. Great conversation, and it's just so cool. It's so cool that you have someone that you share sweat and blood with. Like, he fell twice, and I was there to be able to pick him up and just I don't know, just that bond, I guess. It's very unique. And so today's message was on, we're about to dive into Luke. And the main thing was to proclaim his good news. And I've been hesitant on proclaiming his good news. And today I finally feel comfortable receiving it and proclaiming it to you guys. So here's my proclamation. Do something that challenges you, because you never know if on the other side of that challenge is where God's going to answer your prayer. And so that's been a prayer of mine, to find a home church. But it took the fact that I had to challenge myself to do something that I thought was impossible, to fail, but really succeed, to continue to try again and do the steps to get to that point. And that's where God said, all right, Andres, you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to put in the time, so here I am. You're running after me, literally. Wow. So I'm gonna meet you there. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys. The little surprise thing is I just passed my loan officer license exam recently, and we just applied for it. So we are about to get approved, hopefully, if it's in God's will. So what that means for you guys is, no, I probably will not represent both the buyer on the loan side and on the transaction side. However, it helps with competitive rates. So I'll be able to do a pre-approval for you guys, not waste anybody else's time, and make sure that I run as skinny as possible so that you, as my buyer, get the best rate possible. And then obviously with sellers, with our homeowners currently looking to refinance, I'd be honored to help you guys out. But that is probably end of this week where I hear back from the state to see if I'm approved or not. But I wanted to share that with you guys because I'm super excited. And photography is still a thing. I'm still a thing. Roxy's still a thing, except she's in the apartment, not out here with me because there's so many things going on. And if y'all need anything whatsoever, I am just a phone call, a text, an email away. And in May, by the way, hey, that rhymed. I'm gonna do a little backpacking trip with some of you guys. If you guys are wanting and able to go on a backpacking trip, the dates for it, I'm gonna have May 15th through the 18th. So if you're interested and you made it through this video, you're the exact man that I want for this trip. It's gonna be guys only, so May 15th through the 18th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The place that we're gonna go is Eagle Rock Loop up in Arkansas. It's a 3-day, 26-mile loop that we will hike around. It is wonderful. It is gonna be beautiful because it's gonna be spring. Flowers are gonna be blossoming. I'm gonna bring my camera, and it's just gonna be a great time for fellowship, a great time for conversation, and like the Bible says, ironing, sharpening iron. So yes, May 15th through the 18th. I have room for 4 guys plus Roxy, so 4 guys. And you have to be okay if you're gonna ride with me, you're gonna have to be okay with Roxy, but yeah. Anyways, sweet. I'm so excited. I went a lot longer than I originally anticipated. Sorry about that, but I hope you were entertained. Have a good day.